Today, we're digging into the hardcore leadership philosophy of Matt McInness, the Chief Product Officer at Rippling, a company valued at, a cool $16 billion. So let's get right into it. Why would you ever want to intentionally understaff your most important projects? And is the whole idea of learning from your mistakes just, feel-good nonsense? We're about to explore some seriously counterintuitive ideas that go against pretty much everything you've ever been told about management. This quote right here really gets to the heart of it. The idea is brutally simple. If you want those top-tier 99th percentile results, it's not going to be comfortable. It's supposed to be grueling, uncomfortable, and, really freaking exhausting. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. We're going to build a toolkit of frameworks you can actually use, starting with this wild idea about understaffing. Okay, first up, the understaffing principle. This is the idea that having too many people on a project is way, way more dangerous than having too few. So check out this contrast. The thinking is that overstaffing, which feels safe and comfortable, is actually poison. It creates politics, people start working on unimportant stuff just to look busy, and it slows everything down. It creates this organizational crust. But if you deliberately understaff, you force ruthless focus. You force efficiency. It keeps the team, as one person put it, dehydrated, always wanting more, which means they're only going to work on what absolutely matters most. And that idea of forced focus leads us right into the next big concept, the leader's primary role. See, your organization, just like everything else in the universe, is naturally drifting toward chaos and disorder. And your one job is to fight it. They call this organizational entropy. And you know exactly what this is like, right? It's like a messy room or a pothole that just gets worse over time. Without a constant, relentless injection of energy from you, the leader, the system just decays. Teams will always start to optimize for what's easy and comfortable for them, not for what's best for the company. And this is where it gets really, really scary. The founder or CEO, they're the source of all that energy and intensity. But with each layer of management you add, that intensity can get diluted by an order of magnitude. That, in McInness's own words, is fucking dangerous. So your job as a leader isn't to shield your team from the CEO's intensity, it's to mirror it, to keep it as pure and as high as you possibly can. Okay, this next one goes right after a sacred cow in Silicon Valley, especially for founders, the whole never ever quit mantra. The logic here starts with a simple premise. You learn a heck of a lot more from success than you do from failure. The whole you learn from your mistakes thing, it's mostly a nice-sounding, feel-good idea. Think about it this way. If you're about to get on a plane, who do you want working on it? The mechanic who has seen 100 failures or the one who has seen 100 successes? Yeah, you learn so much more by seeing what right actually looks and feels like. And that brings us to the punchline. When you have product market fit, when customers are desperate for your product, it's not subtle. It's a screaming, rip-roaring growth story. So if you're 4 or 5 years into something and you're still having to convince people, and maybe even yourself, that it's working, it's probably not. That whole never quit thing, it mostly benefits the VCs, right? Their model is built on you trying forever. But for you, the founder, it's often better to stop, reset the clock, and go find a real success to learn from. All right, let's get into the practical tools. We're going to break down 3 powerful frameworks for managing people, process, and quality. So this first one is borrowed straight from the world of finance. And it's pretty simple. Think of alpha as that creative home run, the brilliant, game-changing upside. And think of beta as chaos, unpredictability, and risk. The big insight here is that business processes, they exist for one reason and one reason only, to lower that beta, to reduce the chaos and make things predictable. And here's how you actually use it. When you're building a brand new product from scratch, you want high alpha, and you're willing to accept high beta. You'll take the risk for the reward. But for something mature, like a payroll product, reliability is everything. You want low beta, even if it means you kill some creative alpha. It's the same with people. You might have room for one Dennis Rodman on your team, a high alpha, high beta genius. But your operations team, they need to be rock solid low beta. The goal is just to be conscious about when to add process to lower beta and when to let things be a little chaotic to chase that alpha. This brings us to a real-world tool that was literally born from a failure, a tool designed specifically to lower that beta risk without killing all the alpha. And it all started with a really annoying, frustrating problem. So the story goes like this. Rippling's CEO, Parker, tries to install a new internal app, and he just gets a blank screen. What was the cause? A simple, forgotten feature flag. Now, the normal reaction is to just fix the bug and yell at the team, but the right reaction is to ask, how did our process let this happen? And the solution was to add a new line to their master product quality checklist, which they affectionately call the pickle, to specifically check for this problem from now on. And that's the whole system. When something breaks, don't just fix the bug. Fix the process that let the bug happen in the first place. All right, let's wrap this up and recap the super high-density frameworks we've covered today. Think of this as your new, brutally honest leadership toolkit. So first, embrace the grind. If you're comfortable, you're probably making a mistake. Second, understaff on purpose to force everyone to focus. Third, remember your main job is to fight that natural chaos by constantly injecting energy. Fourth, know when to quit. If product market fit isn't a screaming success after 4 or 5 years, it's time to move on. Fifth, use that alpha/beta framework to decide when you need creativity versus when you need reliability. And finally, create your own version of the pickle, a simple system to turn every single failure into a better process. And that leaves us with this final, really important question. The goal here isn't to just copy-paste these frameworks. It's to understand the principle behind them, that great companies succeed because they build systems around the unique, spiky, weird traits of their leaders. So the real question you should be asking yourself is, what's your unique trait? And how are you going to build a system that makes it louder instead of trying to sand it down?